What's happening, everybody? Thank you guys for joining me here. I am Jordan Knight, and I am the host of this Jordan Knight thing we're doing here. So thanks for everybody for tuning in. Like I showed you here, I had a picture of it's an English Mastiff. It's a brindle. That's what the color looks like. Okay. So the reason I'm showing that is because I figured I'd tell a little story. It's a story that years back, you know, you always look back and you say, how did I get to where I got to today? And if I have to say that I was always asking why. Why did that happen? Why did why in a lot of ways? But in this instance, it had to do with a dog. This isn't my dog, okay, unfortunately. I don't even know if I have any pictures of that dog. But that was a dog named, what was her name? Her name was, don't even remember the dog's name right now. She was with us for like a year, maybe something like this. When I was like 14, 15, I think I had a license maybe at some part of the time. And so I also had a four-wheeler, okay? So now this was a dog where for the most part, we wouldn't take her out. All we would do is we'd open the door and she'd kind of run around and do her thing. You know, you look back and you say, wait a second, if I grade myself, did I do a good job? So that was kind of funny. And I remember also, you know, walking her on a leash and she would just like, it's like, why are you pulling so much? Where are you trying to get to? You know, like, where are you going? So this dog, I can't remember her name at the moment, but, so I would try to do different things with this dog, but most of it was off leash. So one day, I had a four-wheeler. And this is back in Connecticut, okay? So one day I have a four-wheeler, and I'm running through the mud, and the four-wheeler, it gets stuck. I went through mud, and there were roots, and the tire got underneath the mud, and then the roots are kind of like holding the tire in place. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go back. I need to get a saw so I can cut it out because I couldn't even see. It was like deep in there. I'm going to cut this thing out, and I'll bring the dog. So I go, she's not doing anything, right? So I go, I bring the dog, and so we get there, and I'm sawing, and the mud was thick. I could see that the mud as we were walking through, as she was walking, this is a big dog, as she was walking, boom, mud's like coming up. After maybe like a few minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I notice, I look up once, and then this was like, think about like there's a few different, call them mountains, but like big hills around, and this is kind of like in the valley area where we were with the mud. So as I turn my head, I notice that the dog is already making her way back home, and I'm like, where is she going? Like the same question I had for why is she pulling on the leash, I say to myself, where is she going? Like, is it that bad to be with me? Is it that, where's the reliability? Where's the loyalty? Is that normal? That didn't seem to me like a normal thing, because you wouldn't leave your friend. At least I wouldn't have left my friend. So why would the dog leave me, right? And it's funny because all these years later, you know, Sophie was her name, by the way. All these years later, you know, you say, wow, okay, I could have definitely done better. She ended up getting... my mom moved, and then we ended up giving her to another family with like a big farm and everything. So hopefully she had a good end. She was a good puppy though. I had fun with her. She liked to play in the snow. But it was just one of these things that looking back. So I've been, a lot of times when I take all these things to you guys, it's because I've been where a lot of people have been, and I'm just trying to use what I was seeing. Always remember, make it a privilege to be your dog. I guarantee you, if it was a privilege to be my dog, there's no way she would have ever left me. You know? If I would have known how to operate with her on a leash properly, she would have never left me. I used to take that dog, when I did have a license, I'd put her in the car, and I would take her to the local high school or to just different places. So I was already in the mindset of trying to make it a privilege. I just really didn't know how to elevate the level that to make it a real privilege. But that's how I always think today. You know, how can I make it a privilege to be my dog? Because if it's a privilege to be your friend, if it's a privilege to be your work for you, or to work under you, or to have you as mine, all these things, then you're gonna get a 100% loyalty back from the dog. So anyway, I thought that was a nice little story there. The quad goes, gets stuck under the mud. I go, I get the dog, I look, I'm like, what? How is the dog? What is going on around here? And years later, if I could give myself advice, I would say make it a privilege to be your dog, and she's not going to leave you. Okay. I hope everyone's doing good. I'll try to keep these videos coming. You know, pro tips, story time. This way, you guys can kind of get a better understanding of how did I come to some of these conclusions. And I hope everyone's doing good. Have a wonderful day.